So Paul now is about to take us on a journey. And in this journey, he says, the message of the cross, read it, verse 18, is foolishness to those who are perishing. Lord have mercy. It's foolishness to those who are perishing, but to those who are being saved, it's the power of God. And look what Paul does now. Look at it. In chapter 2, verses 1 through 5, he addresses these second sophisticates who often pose as rhapsodizing rhetoricians. They would go and get a subject, go off and hide for a few hours, bounce back, and with rhythmic, syncopated excitement, they would thrill the crowds by their form. They looked like they were glowing when they talked, because before they would come back, they would go get a quick workout in the gym. And then they would oil themselves up, and they would stand up, and they would be flexing while they was talking about philosophy. Nobody knew what they was talking about, but they looked good while they were doing it. It didn't make a lot of sense, but they looked good doing it. And that's why you get in chapter 2, verse 2, in response to verse 18 in chapter 1, while Paul made the determination of saying, I determined to come to you and know nothing but Jesus and him crucified. And then he goes on in verse 1 and tells by a statement of renunciation what he didn't come doing. He said, I didn't come with flowery words. I didn't come with rhapsodizing rhetoric. I didn't come displaying my scholarship. Verse 3, he says, I preached under these constraints. I was physically weak, psychologically fearful, and visibly shaken. He said, and I preached the word on every occasion, which says to us, verse 3 says to all of us, whether you're a preacher, teacher, Sunday school leader, choir member, that there are times where you serve God in your weakness. Another way of saying that is simply this: you can serve God even when you don't have it all together. Some of you have been waiting to get it all together, and the Lord is saying, I can use you to remind you that it's my strength that pours out of your weakness. And then there are times where you're psychologically fearful. Paul was not afraid of dying. That's not what his psychosis was. That's not what his phobia existed for him. What he was afraid of is that he would stand up and preach. And instead of preaching about the message of the cross, he would be tempted just to pay back the intelligentsia to prove to them, I'm just as smart as you are. And so he had to restrain himself because he didn't want to go down in history as having opportunities to bless people and with the word, and then he found himself being combative, trying to say, I went to school too. I'm a graduate of the University of Tarshish. That's why in verse 1 he said, I didn't come to you displaying my rhetoric. I didn't come to you trying to show off what I know. I didn't wear my credentials on my sleeve. I came to you doing one thing, preaching Jesus and him crucified. And you know what? But it's the power of God. God takes that which is foolish and confuse the mind of those who are wise. God takes the weak things and make it stronger than human strength. And so he says there's power. And so those who submit to the cross understand that there's a power to it. You remember when you submitted to the cross shadow elongated itself over your life, and there you were under the cross. And then after you got under the cross, you bowed down at the cross. And now you find yourself constantly kneeling at the cross. And the more you're there, the more your life is changed. You can't believe yourself that you are the person that you are now, because when you look in the mirror, you say, I never thought I could be like this. I never thought that life could be so good. I lived a life where I thought the only way to live was on the wrong side of the margin. But here I am in the center of grace, and I never thought life could get like this. And you for real say, stuff I used to do, I don't do it no more. Not because I can't. I just ain't got the appetite. I ain't got the ambition for it. I ain't got the energy for it. I don't have none of that. and I'm thankful. And that's what the cross does. When the cross is over your life, even when you don't know that you're being transformed, you'll be transformed. You'll wake up and say, Lord, what in the world happened? I don't talk the same. I don't love the same. I don't pray the same. I don't praise the same. My God. And that's when you leave saying, I know God is real. Because you know nobody could do what has happened to you but God himself. I'm going somewhere because there's power. Power. Power to arrest your ego. Power to assault your narcissism. Power to change your character. Power to bring your lust and passion under control. Power. Power to make a difference in your life. Power. I mean, and so we leave and we sing songs like there's power in the blood. Wonder working power in the blood. And people wonder why you clapping your hand and why you running and why you waving. You know, it's because you don't know. Like I know what the Lord have done for me. And you tell people, and I'm not trying to make you know that. You got to live your own life, and one day you gonna say, you don't know. Like I know what the Lord have done for me. And so we come in as power in that. And that's a response we have. It's power. And in that power, we are changed by the message of the cross. But I got one more thing. Here it is. He says, when you read this, it says, now at the cross, where I first saw the light and the burden of my heart rolled away. It was there by faith I received my sight, and now I'm happy all the day. Have I got a witness? I'm glad to have that cross. Yeah, there is room at the cross for you. Millions have come and millions more are welcome to come. There's room at the cross for you. Have a good day now, children. May God bless you real good. But on my way to heaven, I want to thank the Lord for that cross. It might be an old rugged cross. It may be the emblem of suffering and shame. But it's on that cross. Did you hear what I said? That my salvation hang. Yes. Yeah. And every once in a while, when you're down on your knees, you ought to thank the Lord for that cross. Yeah. 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 I'm trying to leave you alone, but my soul done got happy because that cross had made the difference in my life. Sometime the cross might be real heavy, but have you noticed that that same heavy cross is what God uses to lift you up? Goodbye now, children. May God bless you real good. But on our way to heaven, you ought to just thank him for the cross. Thank you for the cross. Thank you for that cross. No wonder he said, if I be lifted up, I'll draw all men to myself. I love that cross. I love it. And I'm going to preach about it because there's power.